Okay, we're gonna try this again. Hopefully it doesn't cut off like the last one did. I had to get rid of that one. But anyway, good afternoon, football fans. Big Al here on this Thursday, October 16th, 2025. And welcome to my Week 7 NFL picks, both straight up and against the spread, and tonight's injury report headed into Thursday Night Football between the Steelers and Bengals. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. And here we go with my Week 7 NFL picks. And we'll start off with Thursday Night Football as the 4-1 Pittsburgh Steelers visit the 2-4 Cincinnati Bengals. Thursday night at 8:15 on Prime. Your announcers are Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, and Kaylee Hartine. With that, let's do this. And this game will be televised locally in Pittsburgh on WTAE Action News 4 and on WCPO 9 News in Cincinnati. The Steelers sit at number 14 in my Week 7 power rankings, and the Bengals are at number 25. What's up, Chad? Who they say gonna beat them Bengals? Nobody. Well, maybe I'll say that they'll beat them Bengals. The current point spread is Pittsburgh minus 5.5, and the over-under is 44.5. I got the Steelers winning a close one, 23-20. I have the game going under 44.5, and I'm taking Cincinnati with the 5.5 points. And I think it's the Joe Flacco effect because he will be making his Bengals debut tonight as the starting quarterback for the Bengals because Jake Browning just has not been cutting it. Clearly, just has not been cutting it. All right, moving on to Sunday, we got another London game as the 4-2 Los Angeles Rams visit the 4-2 Jacksonville Jaguars. This game is being played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, Sunday morning at 9:30 on NFL Network. Yeah, the Bengals defense is horrible. It's really, really bad. I think Trey Hendrickson should ask for a trade out of there because they're not doing nothing with that defense. Your announcers are Rich Eisen, Kurt Warner, and Sarah Walsh. All right, the Rams sit number 12 in my Week 7 power rankings, and the Jaguars are 20. Current point spread is LA minus 3. The over-under is 44.5. I've got the Rams winning this despite all the injuries on that team. LA wins 27-16. I have the game going under 44.5. And I'm taking the Rams at minus 3. All right. To the traditional Sunday afternoon schedule, you'll have 6 games early. We'll start with the 3-3 Carolina Panthers at the 0-6 New York Jets. Sunday at 1 on Fox. Your announcers are Chris Myers, Mark Schlereth, and Sarah Kustoff. All right, the Panthers are up to 21 in my Week 7 power rankings after that very impressive win at home last week against Dallas. Meanwhile, the 0-6 Jets, who were in London last week, suffered 9 sacks at the hands of the Denver Broncos defense in a 13-11 loss. That was a pretty ugly game last Sunday. All right, the current point spread is Carolina minus 1, and the over-under is 42. And Garrett Wilson is not expected to play for the Jets. He has an injury, which means the Jets will have trouble on all fronts, moving the ball on offense and stopping this Carolina offense as well on the defensive side. I got the Panthers winning easy, 27-10. The game will go under 42, and I'm taking the Panthers at minus 1. Next up, the 2-4 Las Vegas Raiders at the 3-3 Kansas City Chiefs, and this is my lock of the week. Sunday at 1 on CBS. Your announcers are Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson. All right, the Raiders are at 26 in my Week 7 power rankings, following Sunday's 20-10 win over the Titans. The Chiefs are at number 15. They're coming off last Sunday night's victory over the Lions 30-17. Current point spread is Kansas City minus 12 and the over-under is 45. The Raiders stand no chance in this game. Patrick Mahomes is about to carve them up. 34-13 Chiefs. I got the game going over 45. And I'm taking Kansas City as my lock of the week at minus 12 points. Up next, the 1-5 Miami Dolphins at the 1-5 Cleveland Browns. Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. Your announcers are Spiro Ditas, Adam Archuleta, and Aditi Kinkawala. Alright. Both are near the bottom of my Week 7 power rankings. The Dolphins sit at number 29. The Browns are at number 24. Current point spread is Cleveland minus 2.5. Over-under is 39.5. The Browns are much better at home than they are on the road. So for that reason, Cleveland wins this one, 21-16. The game will go under 39.5, and I'm taking the Browns at minus 2.5. All right, this one looks a lot more stable than the last one, so that's good. All right, next up, it's the Mike Vrabel revenge game. As his current team, the 4-2 New England Patriots, visit Nashville to face his former team, the 1-5 Tennessee Titans. Sunday at 1 on CBS. Your announcers are Andrew Catalon, Charles Davis, Jason McCourty, and AJ Ross. The Patriots sit number 8 in my Week 7 power rankings. The Titans near the bottom at number 31. Current point spread is New England minus 7. Over-under is 42. The Patriots, I don't think, will have any trouble with this Titans team whatsoever. Give me New England, 31-14. I have the game going over 42, and I'm taking the Pats at minus 7. Next up, the 1-5 New Orleans Saints at the 3-2 Chicago Bears. Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox. Your announcers are Kevin Kugler, Daryl the Moose Johnston, and Allison Williams. Saints are at number 30 in my Week 7 power rankings, while the Bears are at number 19. In fact, I'll get to that in a sec. I want to tell you that the current point spread is Chicago at minus 5. Over-under is at 47.5. Following Monday's victory over the Commanders in Washington, this may be a letdown spot for Chicago, but I personally don't see it. I have the Bears winning 26-16. I have the game going under 47.5, although I won't be surprised if it does go over. And I'm taking the Bears at minus 5. So again, I won't be surprised if this game goes over 47.5, nor if the Saints win. Alright, next up, the 4-2 Philadelphia Eagles, fresh off of last Thursday night's loss to the Giants, facing off with the 3-2 Minnesota Vikings. Okay, I'm 5-1. CMC, JT, QJ, Waz, Monty, Rico, Polka, Tet, QJ, Sutton. I would probably start JT in this spot over Christian McCaffrey. He's got to face that vaunted Falcons defense on Sunday night. So I would definitely start Jonathan Taylor. Puka might not play on Sunday against the Jags, so and then Tedero McMillan, he should have a big day against that Jets secondary. But between him and Courtland Sutton, I would probably start Courtland Sutton. Yeah, I would definitely take Rico over Puka, just in case he doesn't play. Okay, getting back to this, the 4-2 Philadelphia Eagles take on the 3-2 Minnesota Vikings Sunday at 1 on Fox. Announcers are Adam Amin, Greg Olson, and Pam Oliver. Alright, after last Thursday night's loss to the Giants, in which we didn't play nearly as good, we didn't play good at all to be certain. The Eagles fell to number 13 in my Week 7 power rankings. The Vikings are at number 18. Correct point spread is Philadelphia -1. The over-under is 43.5. I'm going to give my Eagles one last chance to right the ship here. They're going up against a Minnesota run defense that is not all that good, so that should mean start Saquon. Get them going. But then again, their secondary is really good, which means Jalen Hurts will have a tough time throwing the ball to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and the rest of his targets, because that secondary is so good. I think the key for the Eagles here is run the football. Get Saquon involved early and often. With that, I'm going to take the Eagles here 21-17, although I almost took the Vikings. I will not lie to you. I almost took the Vikings in this one. I got the game going under 43.5, and I'm taking Philly at -1. Okay, moving on to the late portion of the Sunday schedule. There are 4 games on the late window, I should say, on Sunday, and we'll start off with the 5-1 Indianapolis Colts at the 4-2 Los Angeles Chargers. Sunday at 4:05 on CBS. Your announcers are Ian Eagle, J.J. Watt, and Evan Washburn. Both teams sit in the top 10 in my Week 7 power rankings. The Colts are number 5. The Chargers are 7. Current point spread is LA -2. The over-under is 48.5. The Chargers have a multitude of injuries that they'll have to face, that they'll have to deal with, and that's going to be tough going up against this high-powered Colts offense. I have Indianapolis winning 27-20. I have the game going just under 48.5, and I'm taking the Colts at +2. Next up, the 2-4 New York Giants at the 4-2 Denver Broncos. Sunday at 4:05 on CBS. The announcers are Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins. Alright, following last Thursday's win over the Eagles, the Giants moved to number 27 in my Week 7 power rankings. The Broncos, who played an ugly game with the Jets last week, they got 9 sacks and they held New York to 82 total yards of offense. That includes -10 net passing yards. They're sitting at number 9. Current point spread is Denver -7, over-under is 40.5. I ultimately took the Broncos to win 24-14. I have the game going under 40.5. And I took the Broncos at -7. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants made this a closer game, like say 23-17 or even 24-20 in that case, and they end up covering. But for now, I'm going to take the Broncos with that 7-point spread. Alright, to game 2 of Fox's doubleheader, some will see the 3-1-1 Green Bay Packers at the 2-4 Arizona Cardinals. Sunday at 4:25 on Fox. Your announcers are Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Jennifer Hale. The Packers have gained the top spot in my Week 7 power rankings. The Cardinals are down to number 23. Current point spread is Green Bay -6.5. Over-under is 44. The Cardinals have a lot of injuries, including Kyler Murray, who had that ankle injury that kept him out last Sunday against the Colts. Meanwhile, on the Packers side, Christian Watson may return to bolster this offense. We shall see what happens. I have Green Bay winning 30-23. But a backdoor cover is in order for the Cardinals. I have the game going over 44, and I'm taking Green Bay minus 6.5, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of backdoor cover by Arizona. The rest of the country will be seeing the 3-3 Washington Commanders at the 2-3-1 Dallas Cowboys. Sunday at 4:25 on Fox, your announcers are Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi. All right, the Commanders, after Monday night's loss to Chicago, dropped to number 10 in my Week 7 power rankings. And the Cowboys, also coming off a loss at the Carolina Panthers, they're down to number 22. Current point spread was Washington minus 1.5. The over-under is 55. We might see Terry McLaurin back for the Commanders. Then again, we might not. But Washington has a lot of injuries, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And with that, I do take the Dallas Cowboys to win in a bounce back, 34-27. I have the game going over 55, and I'm taking Dallas plus 1.5. Now it's Sunday Night Football. The 3-2 Atlanta Falcons visit the 4-2 San Francisco 49ers. Sunday night at 8:20 on NBC. Your announcers are Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark. All right, the Falcons moved to number 16 in my Week 7 power rankings after that impressive performance against the Bills on Monday night. Meanwhile, the 49ers lost to the equally short-handed Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they fell to number 6. Current point spread is San Francisco minus 2.5, and the over-under is 47.5. I do have the Niners winning because they have the home field. San Francisco takes it 24-21. I have the game going under 47.5. And I'm taking the Niners at minus 2.5. But that defense will not be the same without Fred Warner. He's out for the season, as is Nick Bosa. So there's a lot of turnover on this Niner defense. All right, we have another Monday Night Football doubleheader. Game 1 is the 5-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the 4-2 Detroit Lions. And this is my game of the week. That's Monday night at 7 p.m. on ESPN and ABC. Your announcers are Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters, and Laura Rutledge. All right. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers moved up to number 2 in my Week 7 power rankings, while the Detroit Lions, last week's number 1 team, lost to the Kansas City Chiefs and fell to number 3 in my Week 7 power rankings. Current point spread is Detroit minus 5.5, and the over-under is 52.5. And big news for the Bucs, they may get Mike Evans back in that receiver room after missing a few games with injuries. And the Lions secondary is like a mash unit right now. I think you've got 3 players that will be inactive for this game. You have 2 players on injury reserve. And then, of course, Brian Branch, based on his antics against Juju Smith-Schuster last Sunday night, he got suspended for this game. So at that, I got the Buccaneers taking this one, 28-21. I think the game goes under 52.5, but I won't be surprised if it does go over. And I'm taking Tampa at plus 5.5. And then the final game of the week, the 2-3 Houston Texans visit the 4-2 Seattle Seahawks. That's Monday night, I should say, at 10 on ESPN. Your announcers are Chris Fowler, Louis Riddick, Dan Orlovsky, Katie George, and Peter Schrager. All right, the Texans playing much better on offense now. Sit at number 17 in my Week 7 power rankings, and the Seahawks are at number 11, and that's following Sunday's win in Jacksonville. Current point spread is Seattle minus 3, over under is 41. I'm taking the Seahawks with the home field, 28-23. I think the game goes over 41. And I'm taking the Hawks at -3. Off this week, you have the 1-5 Baltimore Ravens sitting at number 28 in my Week 7 power rankings. And the Buffalo Bills at 4-2, sitting at number 4. All right, let's jump into this injury report for tonight's game between the Steelers and the Bengals, and we'll begin with the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, wide receiver Calvin Austin III is out with a shoulder. Safety Miles Killebrew is also out with a knee. Meanwhile, Deshaun Elliott is questionable. He's getting rest, so it's not injury related. And linebacker Malik Harrison is also questionable with a knee. Other names listed include defensive tackle Cam Hayward, wide receiver DK Metcalf, cornerback Jalen Ramsey, quarterback Aaron Rodgers, cornerback Darius Big Play Slay, and linebacker TJ Watts. And for the Bengals, both their tight ends are out tonight. Mike Gesicki has a pectoral injury, and Tanner Hudson has a concussion. They are both out tonight. Defensive end Trey Hendrickson, we talked about him earlier. He's questionable with a hip. Wide receiver Charlie Jones is questionable with ribs. And guard Lucas Patrick is questionable with a calf. Other names listed include offensive guard Dylan Fairchild, defensive tackle BJ Hill, offensive tackle Amarius Mims, and defensive end Shamar Stewart. And that is a look at my Week 7 NFL picks, both straight up and against the spread, and tonight's injury report ahead of the Steelers-Bengals game. I will be back on Monday with a look at the Week 9 college football rankings. I'll tell you what happened following Week 8 of college football and how the polls look. That'll drop sometime Monday afternoon, so make sure you join me for that. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching and enjoy the pigskin tonight and this weekend. Peace out.